Have you ever heard of the spy who fooled an empire? Stop scrolling, because this story is about to blow your mind. In this episode of Historical Hidden Gems, we'll delve into the jaw-dropping tale of a relatively unknown but absolutely brilliant spy whose actions altered the course of history. Let's rewind to the early 1900s, a time ripe with political tensions, alliances, and betrayals. World War I was looming on the horizon, and intelligence operations around the world were at an all-time high. Empires had elaborate espionage systems, but none could anticipate the cunning of one single individual, a person who, with limited resources and sheer audacity, managed to outwit the might of an entire empire. Our protagonist, a man named Paul Foerster, was not the type of person anyone would peg as a secret agent. In fact, Foerster was simply a former schoolteacher who had taken up a desk job in Berlin. So how does a schoolteacher go from grading papers to altering the geopolitical balance of the time? Here's where it gets fascinating. In 1914, when Europe erupted into war, the German Empire desperately sought ways to weaken its Russian adversaries. Hundreds of agents were trained and dispatched to sabotage Russia's war effort, but few yielded tangible results. Enter Paul Foerster, who, oddly enough, was not initially chosen for his skills as a spy, but for his knowledge of Russian culture and fluency in the language. That was all he needed to be sent across enemy lines. Foerster's mission: to infiltrate Russian high society and gather intelligence on troop movements, supply routes, and political developments. On paper, it sounded almost impossible for a modest schoolteacher to pull off. But Foerster's secret weapon wasn't muscle or high-tech gadgets. It was his ability to adapt and, most importantly, charm his way into any room. Posing as a modest Latvian aristocrat, Foerster built his cover from scratch. His alias, Konstantin Lavrov, became a rising star in St. Petersburg social circles. Lavrov hosted lavish dinners, attended extravagant balls, and even became close with prominent Russian diplomats. His keen ability to mirror the Russian elite's mannerisms and values allowed him to earn the trust of people who, unbeknownst to them, were divulging sensitive information. By 1916, Foerster, or Lavrov, had successfully provided German intelligence with valuable details of the Russian army's plans. This allowed Germany to make strategic moves on the Eastern Front that prolonged Russia's internal disarray. You might think this spy's ultimate downfall came at the hands of some seasoned Russian investigator, but remarkably enough, it was a single misplaced interaction that led to his capture. During one evening gala, Lavrov encountered an exceptionally skeptical general. This general, Nikolai Zubov, questioned Lavrov too relentlessly, asking obscure cultural questions and making sharp political remarks. Foerster failed to counter convincingly. That planted the seed of doubt in Zubov's mind, and within weeks, Lavrov was under surveillance. Foerster's ingenious cover began to crumble. When the authorities finally arrested Lavrov, they discovered notes written in German along with coded messages meant for Berlin. This marked the catastrophic end of Foerster's espionage adventure. He was tried as a spy and sentenced to death. However, what happened next would prove even more surprising. Foerster managed to delay his execution for several months by providing seemingly useless but convincingly detailed information about German operations elsewhere on the Eastern Front, a tactic that could have been described as his final act of espionage. Ultimately, Foerster met a tragic end, but his story lived on, albeit quietly. His contributions to Germany's military efforts during one of the most turbulent times in world history should have elevated him to a household name in espionage lore. Instead, they've been overshadowed by the towering pillars of history like Mata Hari or Sidney Riley. Yet when we explore his resourcefulness, bravery, and sheer audacity, it's clear that Paul Foerster embodied a spy like no other. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Russia never revealed exactly how much damage Foerster's intelligence gathering caused. Historical records hint at several unexplained German victories on Russian soil during Foerster's time active in St. Petersburg. Food for thought, isn't it? What if Paul Foerster's espionage was the domino effect that led to the Russian Empire's unraveling and eventual revolution? It's stories like these, the overlooked underdog stories, that remind us of the extraordinary lives people led beneath the surface of history. Foerster's journey tells us that no role is too small to tilt the balance of power, no background too humble to birth greatness. The next time you think of a spy, let's remember it's not always about double agents in tuxedos and Aston Martins. Sometimes, it's about a schoolteacher crafting a whole new identity, one conversation at a time. Thanks for watching this deep dive into historical hidden gems. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're as fascinated by these untold tales as we are. And share your thoughts with us. What other hidden stories from history would you like us to uncover? Ensure the expanded voiceover is even more entertaining, but that it maintains the same style, tone, and key points as the original.